Welcome. Welcome, everyone. For those of you that are live, hello. This is 3:15 in the afternoon on a Monday beginning the week. I hope you're all going to have an incredible week. And I'd like to talk about the $2.3 trillion question. So I will have some updates and some general round robin a little bit towards the end. But if you all don't mind, without a little further ado, shall we begin? So, like I said, the $2.3 trillion wake up call, why family offices can't afford ego over returns, but many of them will. Would you rather be right or make a lot of money for yourself and for the family office? So, in 2014, when Bitcoin was under $1,000, Marc Andreessen wrote probably the most prescient financial analysis of our generation. It was one of the initiatives, along with others, to get me involved 11 or 12 years ago into Bitcoin. And today, at what, literally 120,000 plus, that's 120x return in a decade. But I'll give you a brutal truth. This isn't about being right anymore. It's about survival in a fundamentally different world. So this is going to be a pretty long one, guys. We're going to go pretty deep. Let's do it. The ego tax. How being right cost, well, generational wealth. The pattern that separates wealth creators from wealth destroyers. And I've been in this community for 20 years. Let's talk about personal computers. 1975. Oh, those are toys for hobbyists. Well, it's a $3 trillion plus industry. The internet, really 1993. Information superhighway fad. Only 50 trillion in wealth creation. Bitcoin back in 2014 when Andreessen came out with that. This is digital tulips. Well, today into what, a $2.3 trillion market cap. The pattern isn't about technology. It really is about human psychology. Those who adapt, and the family office world is ever so slow, but those who adapt capture exponential returns, and those who resist pay exponentially higher prices later. So, what has changed since 2014? The acceleration. So, this is a decentralization revolution. Back then, Bitcoin was kind of a payment experiment. Now it's a stateless, let that sink in, a stateless, governmentless money with no single point of failure. That's what decentralization is. No one company, no one person, no board, no computer. No one computer. Critical insight. Every government, bank, and institution can absolutely fail. Absolutely. Bitcoin's distributed network, now across what, 100 countries, hundreds of millions of users, how many nodes and miners and all that, it can't be shut down, seized, we could use that word a little loosely, or inflated away. And part of that reason is the latter, the 21 million hard cap. So digital scarcity in the past might have been theoretical, but now it simply is proven mathematics, mathematical scarcity in a world of infinite money printing backed by nothing that is not stopping. The math, 21 million Bitcoin divided what by 56 million millionaires equals 0.375 Bitcoin per millionaire globally. That's it. The implication, scarcity premium is just the beginning. Now, and of course with me, there's an AI acceleration factor, a game changer. AI is demolishing, listen to that very carefully, demolishing traditional business modes faster than ever. In the coming years, you're really going to see that be impactful to what we call the S&P 500. What this means, let's go banking moats, eroding as AI enables peer-to-peer finance, currency moats collapsing as AI makes cross-border payments trivial, investment moats disappearing as AI will democratize financial analysis. All things that I've been talking about. So this is the convergence, which I've also been talking about. And again, I've been on Bitcoin, go and buy it to 2013 or 14. The convergence of AI plus Bitcoin equals the complete reconstruction of finance. How as a family office can you not see that? This is the digital property revolution. So it's rethinking property in a digital age. The old paradigm, physical assets, paper certificates, institutional custody. The new paradigm, digital assets, cryptographic proof, and self-custody. So the breakthrough is, for the first time in human history, you can own digital property that cannot be counterfeited, cannot be seized without your keys, cannot for sure be inflated away by central authorities. And what do governments do? They take, they tax, they have bad monetary policy. Do they create anything? No, of course not. So that's important. And by the way, this could all be transferred globally without intermediaries, sometimes in literally seconds. So the institutional validation, as if that's needed, I don't think so. But for many of you, yes. 2014, come on, Bitcoin was too risky for institutions. But 2024, we see MicroStrategy with 42 billion in Bitcoin treasury, Tesla with what, 1.5 billion in allocation, El Salvador as legal tender status, BlackRock, that made it real to some of you, the Bitcoin spot ETF with 50 billion plus in inflows, and more corporations and even sovereign wealth funds, at least quietly accumulating. So the question, I guess, are you more sophisticated than these institutions or realistically more stubborn? I get it. Happens to me, happens to all of us. Don't let your ego and ignorance get in the way. So there's a network effect to this as well that is really important to understand. Kind of the network effect explosion, the four-sided network that kind of starts to become unstoppable. So one is consumers, like hundreds of millions of Bitcoin holders globally. Admittingly, some of them very modest amounts, but they're getting used to it. Merchants, what, 40,000 plus? Businesses even accepting Bitcoin. Look around the world. Miners, 50 billion in infrastructure securing the network. Developers, 10,000 plus developers building even on Bitcoin. Look at Coinbase, a US public company. Look at what crypto broadly in the Bitcoin industry is doing in terms of employing people, of creating wealth, of getting rid of kind of the intermediaries that were wickedly centralized. So the network effect math, each new participant increases Bitcoin's value for all existing participants exponentially. It's not linear. Then again, I could go in the developer ecosystem. And maybe for some of you in the family office world, we're getting a little deeper than we really need to. But I hope you're getting the big picture. This will all start to make sense in the 5 or 10 minutes as I come to conclude. You have the Lightning Network, instant near zero free payments. Taproot from a couple of years ago, smart contracts on Bitcoin. Liquid Network, institutional, a settlement layer. Ordinals, which were more NFTs, tokens on Bitcoin. The reality, Bitcoin isn't just digital gold, although that wouldn't be so bad. It's becoming a complete financial operating system. So there's also what I would define as a macro context to this that changes everything. And that really is the great debasement. Since 2014, US debt was what? 17 trillion then? Well, what is it now? You all know the answer to that. Closer to 37 trillion. The money supply has tripled in 4 years. Real interest rates are often negative. And currency wars, well, they're accelerating globally. The hedge. Bitcoin is the only asset that's immune to monetary debasement. I like gold, don't get me wrong. But I really, really like Bitcoin. There's other solutions to some of this as well, but I want to try to be more focused on this. The geopolitical shift. So the sanctions weapon, every frozen Russian asset prove that traditional quote unquote safe assets, at least in dollars for the Russians, aren't really, well, they're not really that safe from political risk, are there? The Bitcoin response, neutral money that works the same for everyone, everywhere, always. So back to the AI and crypto convergence. Why AI makes Bitcoin really inevitable. And you have to think through this. AI is eliminating friction everywhere. Trading. AI makes 24/7 global Bitcoin markets more efficient 24/7. Custody. AI enables better security and key management. Payments. AI plus the Lightning Network equals instant global settlement. And DeFi may be more applicable for some other quote unquote platforms that are not necessarily proof of work, but I'm getting a little too deep into the weeds. But AI creates sophisticated financial products on Bitcoin. Let's go with that. And broadly, let's probably redefine that as crypto. The acceleration. AI doesn't just make Bitcoin better, it kind of makes traditional finance, well, possibly just a matter of time, obsolete. Now, the programmable money future. Smart contracts plus AI equal autonomous kind of economic agents. Imagine now AI agents that earn, save, and invest in Bitcoin. We're getting really deep into this now. Automated inheritance that executes based on real world conditions, family office operations that somewhat run themselves. Are we a little early? Sure. But all these trends, again, this train has left the station. Investment strategies that adapt in real time. And no, what I'm describing is not science fiction. It's beginning to happen now, and this is only going to accelerate. Do you think we're going to move back, or do you think things are going to move forward? The family office blind spot. Why traditional wealth management is failing. The consultants, often MFOs, others RIAs, they still think that 60/40 is a good portfolio. The banks are still overcharging at 2 or 3%, working their 9 to 5, 5 days a week. No, it's an intermediary that may be needed at the moment. It's not the long-term value in future for more sophisticated future forward families. The family office is still debating if instead of how much, really? The reality, while you've been waiting for permission, Bitcoin became the best performing asset class of the last 10 years. Is it going to be that moving forward? I have no idea. The expertise gap, the problem. Most family offices lack the technical expertise to evaluate Bitcoin properly. Sometimes it is an age thing. It's ego, it's ignorance. I've had guests on that just don't want to put in even 10 or 20 hours of work. Paul Tudor Jones could, others could, but no, like you just can't do that, apparently. The solution, stop trying to understand everything and start understanding enough. The precedent, you didn't need to understand TCP and IP to invest in Amazon, did you? Oh, I mean, I could state kind of 3 levels of Bitcoin adoption. Level 1, portfolio allocation, which was probably where most would stop, maybe 1 to 5% allocation. You got to understand custodial solutions, now easier for many of you with spot ETFs, etc. And that's like a price appreciation play. What would be level 2, more infrastructure? You could consider Bitcoin mining operations, Lightning Network infrastructure, and custodial technology companies. We'll get to level 3 once I'm apparently a little thirsty from my lunch. Operational integration, where generational wealth lives. Bitcoin dominated family trust, cross-border settlement in Bitcoin, programmable inheritance structures. And there's lots here. I know for those of you that you're all familiar with it, but maybe I'm throwing a little too much at you for the family office world. And no, this is not as simple as, okay, we bit the bullet a year ago and have 1 or 2% in the spot ETF. Like, that's not enough. Like there's more to this, and I'm weaving in the story for you. The My private intelligence and membership community, the SFO Continuity Advantage, which is really beyond debate. We don't just debate if, we debate kind of how. Our community focus on optimal allocation strategies for different risk profiles, custodial solutions that go beyond a simply ETF. Suppose you want to self custody, you want to effectively kind of be your own bank. So these are custodial solutions that balance security and accessibility, especially for those of you concerned about banks or institutions or sovereign risk. It's about tax optimization across multiple jurisdictions, succession planning with kind of programmable inheritance, and risk management in effectively a multi-asset digital world. So there is, again, as I go back to a network effect of intelligence. I hope some of you are enjoying this. Those that are still with us now, what, about 20 minutes in? So the first mover member gain, deal flow to some degree into Bitcoin and crypto infrastructure companies, technical expertise from real builders, operators, and early supporters of kind of this community, regulatory intelligence from multiple jurisdictions and thought leaders, operational knowledge, and this is a big one, operational knowledge from families already implementing how they did it, why they did it, what was their thesis, and how have they adapted. So don't forget the iconic, God, I loved this guy, Milton Friedman. The prophecy has been kind of fulfilled. He stated, one thing that's missing, but will soon be developed, is reliable e-cash. I think he said this back in 99. A method whereby on the internet you can transfer funds from A to B without A knowing B or B knowing A. The future, well, wake up, it's already here. The question isn't whether Bitcoin will work, it's whether your family office will adapt fast enough to capture really the true opportunity. So there is a brutal truth, I guess you could say, about timing. What some would loosely define as the adoption curve. The innovators, probably 2.5%, literally made 1,000x plus returns. Early adapters, probably 13, 14%, probably about 100x returns. Early majority, which could be as much of about a third, making 10x returns. Late majority, probably 2 or 3x. And the laggards, which probably makes up about 14, 15%, will kind of be forced effectively to adapt at any price. Don't let your ego and ignorance get in the way. Don't let your ability to evolve your thinking, to admit that you were wrong. We're all wrong every day. Acknowledging that and moving forward. The opportunity cost, really, every day you wait, Bitcoin's network effect strengthens. Institutional adoption accelerates. It's not decreasing. And your entry price, because you're trying to time it, increases. And your competitive advantage effectively erodes. Don't let the age challenge, the ego and ignorance get in your way of reality. Reposition some of your capital. And I get it. Is it volatile? Yes. Yes. Is anything assured moving forward like the amazing last 10, 15, 17 years? No. But when you look at the trends, when you look at simply the math, I think it's relatively obvious. So the choice, option one, keep debating, keep waiting, keep paying higher prices. Option two, oh, God forbid, evolve and adapt your thinking. Embrace digital property, capture these exponential returns. The question isn't whether you understand Bitcoin perfectly. The question is whether you can afford to keep not understanding it. So if you want to join the future, be a part of what I've built. I originally built Family Office Association. I've traveled the world, consulted with really so many families over my decades. I now built a new, more intimate private intelligence strategy and membership community called SFO Continuity. And it's not necessarily for families that demand to be right. It's for families who want to be incredibly successful, who want to be part of the top 1% of the 1% of the 1%, the best of the best in the family office community. Because in a world where AI is eliminating moats and crypto is rebuilding finance, the only sustainable advantage is superior intelligence and faster adaptation. Wouldn't you agree? Are you ready to stop debating and start building? That's what you need. So the families who embrace broadly what I'm talking about so much and building myself in AI, the families who embrace Bitcoin today and broadly crypto. Look at what's happening with stable coins. Look at the future rails that's happening with XRP, slash Ripple. There's so much going on. These will be the ones that preserve and grow wealth into tomorrow. The families who resist will be the ones explaining to the next generation why they chose ego over returns. Again, I go back to, would you rather make money, or is it so important for you to be right? You didn't like Bitcoin in 2009. You didn't like it in 2012 or 15. You thought you were right in 2022. You weren't. And now you got too much invested on the other side. You're going to be like all these people, like, no, it's going to go to zero. Like, if you feel that way, I heard Raoul Pal basically state mitigate your risk by limiting your allocation. So maybe for some of you, you do start with 1%. Maybe with others, it's 3%. Those are things you could afford to lose. And as it increases in value above practically everything else in your portfolio, which appears to be inevitable based in the past, then you adapt your allocation. And in doing so, you may be taking further opportunity and chips off the table. So it's all relative to liquidity needs and risk tolerance. I get it. I've been in finance community for 4 decades. So we are in very interesting times. No, AI is not the only thing that I talk about, but it's going to be so important and it is integral to the conversation today. I've been talking about Bitcoin and crypto. I was easily the first one who was adamant about it with some level of intellect and knowledge and putting my money where my mouth was effectively over 10 years ago, more so in 17, looked a little bad for a period there. 22 was rough, but I stayed with it. And I ended up effectively being correct about this. There is no doubt, I am so many times X more correct about AI. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be volatile, that things can't go wrong, that Taiwan doesn't get invaded, that something really bad happens and maybe takes things off course for a short time. But your real investors, your family offices, you're not looking for one day, 1 month, or sometimes even 1 year. You have a multi-year approach, but that does need to adapt and evolve as things are changing so quickly. So needing to understand AI, Bitcoin, stable coins, if you don't understand stable coins with what is happening now with the current administration, with the fact of who's going to be buying our treasuries, with Circle being public, with Ethereum behind it, and how that's going to likely also spike and take off, like, what's wrong with you? But it's okay. It's okay if this is coming at you a little quick. There's the opportunity to simply join my SFO continuity. You'll get hands-on access to me effectively 24/7, the leading thought leaders. And I know some of the OGs in Bitcoin literally going back to 2009 and 10. And my activities and actions in Silicon Valley. So the world of AI, Bitcoin, crypto, like, we are at the cutting edge on this. I've proven that 10 years ago in Bitcoin. We all know that I put all my chips on the table for AI, far deeper than just investing, but I put my money where my mouth is in public and private companies, in the world and the sectors of AI and around it. And I know that I'm correct about that. But far deeper than that, to me, that's almost secondary. It's my foundation. It's the architecture of what I'm doing in my family office and what I'm building. And again, like I've said many times, sadly, in some ways, I want to be chased by a lion. I just don't have any real competitors in the family office community. They're so careful, so guarded, so outdated in their thinking. And I hate the utilization of the word expert and thought leader. Like, again, I know I said this last week, And sometimes I fall prey to my ego in challenges like that too. Please, for the life of me, when my time is over, bury me in a white belt. I really have to put that on my LinkedIn profile, white belt in family offices. Like all this nonsense I'm hearing from all these legacy thinkers in areas around crypto and AI and their feelings and just so old guard and so many different things. If you're going to follow that, you are going to go down a path where your wealth is going to be eroded. You're going to be way behind the times, and you are absolutely going to be out of a job in a couple of years. You have a choice to make, and I'm reaching my hand out to be a part of what I've built. Go to angelorobles.com and jump in and be a member. Don't wait. Now is the time to do it this summer. Jump into what I'm doing at my AI Family Office Masterclass, where I got a billionaire who's one of my instructors, and you're going to learn so much from him, let alone my others and me. It's ridiculous the value that you're going to get out of it. Like, you have to understand when it's time to move forward, to spend money, sure, and take the actions that you need to take. And these are the insights. And I've been a little bit more quiet other than here and there about Bitcoin really for the last year or two. But it's been very, very good for me. And my members get deeper insight into my thoughts, which I shared more openly today. So I hope some of you just wake up to the reality. This family office community, the so-called people that you're listening to, like what are they? They're just parroting others. They're glorified event planners. They're old guard family governance experts, like all this nonsense that I'm hearing. And again, I've created something called a Battle of Ideas. It's going to be featured at my September program in New York City. I like active, deep intellectual debates and conversations. So challenge me on Bitcoin, challenge me on AI, challenge me on my thoughts that you could create a single family office technically for as low as $10 million AUM, for sure for $30 to $40 million. Like, it's okay to have active disagreement and to debate ideas. So the battle of ideas for me is important. That's what makes me human. That's what makes me form a thesis, be able to intellectually defend it, sometimes realize there's holes in my thesis and adapt it. These are the things that are important to me. So sure, I want to have a good time this summer. I want to have some time off. I got my cigar ready to go, where I'm going to enjoy it a little bit this afternoon. But I'm here to work. I got work I got to do tonight. I got a lot of work I got to do this week. Like, now is the time. Like, I want to 10x my wealth. I want to enhance my level of control and self-sovereignty that I'm building. And I'm not satisfied. Is that just me and being type A and how I'm wired, and I'm probably going to die of a heart attack and this probably won't help in the coming years? Maybe. Maybe that effectively is my fate. So we are in very interesting times. Like, wake up to these realities that I'm talking about. The world of crypto and Bitcoin, the world of AI, the dynamics around structuring and global sovereignty, the challenges that we're having here in America and the West, and what this could mean in terms of our debt, our deficit. What does inflation mean? What deflationary forces could AI possibly do to counteract that? There's so much to discover and discuss. Why aren't there more deeper intellectual conversations happening in the community? And don't judge me because I have a suit and a tie on. I could have a t-shirt on. I could be smoking my cigar. None of that has any impact on my intellectual capability, rigor, and the work that I put in. So for me, as I mentioned to some of you during my live yesterday, and I've been apparently very active this weekend, I just have a lot of thoughts on my mind. So I'm going to be in New York tomorrow, $100 million penthouse. I'm going to be talking openly about a variety of different subjects. Go back to my video on the creature of Jekyll Island, how the birth of the Fed, 1910 through 1913, Bretton Woods, Nixon gold standard 71, where we are now with debt and what to invest in. Things that I can't really and don't want to mention in video, but that's the value of being in person, especially as a member. So if you're in New York tomorrow, Tuesday the 15th, you want to reach out to me. I might have a little bit of capacity in terms of getting you in. We shall see. and great food and drink and great company as well. I will be off to Newport, Rhode Island over the weekend. So probably for about a 4 or so day block, there'll be no lives from me heading into late this week and into early next week. If you're around, DM me, text me, give me a shout out. I'll be doing a little bit of something with a partnering organization at the Cookhouse. So looking forward to that next Monday. So I guess a week from today. My members will get various other soirees and breakfasts that I'll be hosting. My AI Family Office Masterclass, Game Changer, that will absolutely change your life. And I got the lead instructor in the world who happens to make it work for August 11th and 12th. I actually emailed him yesterday. We went back and forth a little bit on Grok 4 Heavy. That was a video that I did yesterday. So if you haven't listened or watched that, like, wow, there's like so much going on. Everyone, wake up. This summer is a time to be alive, to breathe, to get an edge, get an opportunity before the road gets too crowded. Learn how to drive this crazy crypto and AI world before 2 or 3 years. Those roads are going to be like driving in LA. It's going to be more complicated. You want to get the foundation down now and get comfortable using these resources, which are all available to you at effectively such nominal cost, really, at the end of the day. And then I do got my New York City Forum for members, maybe selectively some guests, coming up in September, and look to do multiple battle of ideas. Why? Because I don't really need lots of sponsors for what I do. That's going to be over 3 days, maybe. I'll take in 2 or 3 higher quality sponsor underwriters, and they can never tell me what to say or what I can't talk about. I just won't allow that, which means 95% of my programming is clean. It is families. It is me one-on-one in a chair inviting people to come down and let's rock those battle of ideas. It's okay to be politically incorrect. It's okay to rock the boat. It's okay to have different ideas. And it's really good to go around the room. Jack, what was your last investment? What was your thesis? Why did you do it? Jane, what restructuring went through in your family office? What are you doing to mitigate taxes? Like real family and allocators talking about what they do without a script, without something to sell. But I don't know, maybe that's something that you're not really that interested in. You want more of the glitz around the Hamptons and things like that with 10,000 sponsors. I mean, those can be kind of fun. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that too this summer. But do I really look to get anything out of it that is going to be long lasting and have an opportunity to make a true impact in my portfolio, my mindset, my cultural development, my family office, my engagement with my rising generation? Probably not really. So maybe I'm only the serious one. No fun outside of me enjoying cigars. And by the way, I don't know, I could be down tomorrow night in New York when we wrap up at the Penthouse at 7:00. The Carnegie Club is really not that far away. Let's go to a great cigar bar and have a good drink and a cigar. And no, I'm like, boy, back in the days, I've smoked cigars for years. They didn't really want me to talk about that at Family Office Association. No, we have a board and investors and blah, blah, blah. Like, I just love the freedom. More than money, I love my personal freedom. The ability for me to have built up resources and have the freedom to kind of do what I want to do, go where I want to go. And that's what I really enjoy. And that really goes back to the value of America and the American spirit. So I have much to talk about this summer. Like I could go on and on, everyone. And this Wednesday, David Hunter, I'm going to make that totally open, 2 hours, 4:00 Eastern. The man is 53 plus year veteran, Wall Street, and he's a creative, new edge thinker. We're going to go hardcore on macroeconomics. I'm sure we're going to disagree on some things, but you all know that I like that. Apparently, those are my favorite kind of interviews from what some of you tell me. Shockingly, how many wimps there are out there that are afraid in the family office community to kind of come on the show, not because I won't be cordial and friendly. I always appreciate anyone and you as a guest. It's okay to disagree. Why are you all so scared of like active disagreement? Just come prepared and let's go. So probably in Newport, like I did last year, I'll bump into some old friends and people, and I got a burst of about 4 or 5 great guests last year from that. So hope to Do that again this year. Busy couple of weeks. All of you just reach out to me. You can DM me anytime. 203-570-2898. And again, now is the time to go to angelorobles.com to go into my membership to join SFO Continuity and be a part of a year-long engagement of varying programs, including very active this summer, direct access to me, incredible thought leaders, and most importantly, just wickedly really nice and great peers that you're going to benefit and learn so much from. So there's lots going on, including, again, the AI Family Office Masterclass. They're really definitive and really the only true. I don't even have a close number two yet. That will probably change. But for now, you're going to get it from the original who's doing it. August 11th and 12th in New York City. It's all up on angelorobles.com. Lots more other goodies on there. I don't really talk too much about Family Office Mansion. That's kind of cool. Who else is doing that? No one. I did mention the fact, and I'll be talking more and more about building family offices really from AUMs of much lesser amounts than the industry notes. Had a little bit of an internal debate on a phone call just a couple of minutes ago before this live with someone who disagrees with me on that. I'm like, come on, let's do it. Let's share it with the public. You bring up interesting points, and let's go a little back and forth on it. And no, I did not forget about my 360 diagnostic review, how we're going to do that, how we're going to structure it, how to apply to be a part of it. It's me and other incredible thought leaders. That'll be a little bit more later in the summer. So lots going on. It's all good. Without further ado, I didn't see any text or any specific comments via the social medias come in. So anyone on Bitcoin, on AI, on structuring, on events happening this summer, on fine cigars and which ones. And I had a little bit of a pretty nasty cold and bronchitis for about 2 weeks. So I really haven't enjoyed much cigars. Been a good boy the last couple of weeks. So on that note, without anything coming in, 3, 2, 1. I hope it's going to be an awesome week. I look forward to seeing some of you this week. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Look forward to next time.